Welcome to
Roses and Thorns.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're going to recap The Bachelor.
Week 7? 8?
Hometowns.
Okay. With Matt James.
Yep.
Okay.
What news do you have?
I have some things.
Okay.
So a little update for the Dale and Claire cadenza. I don't know.
That's not a word.
It's like a hutch. What?
Credenza?
Credenza.
Wait,
It's not a sofa. It's a furniture. So it's not the same thing. I was trying to, okay, whatever. On that note, they've been on, I think they've been in Florida for a while, at least been spotted in Florida for a while. So before last week when we were talking about it, they weren't seen really holding hands, but they were definitely seen holding hands and kissing in public and smiling and having fun. So it seems like they're seeing how things go at the very least.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Love is not a straight line.
Nope, it's not. People take different paths. And I mean, I hope that they both find their happiness, whether that's with each other or other people. I want them to be happy.
Yeah. For this season stuff, Matt James came out with a statement of his own.
Yes. Did you screenshot that?
I did.
Okay. Do you want to read it?
Sure. Okay. The post a few weeks ago. Okay, sorry. It's very small.
It's very small. I landscaped it and screenshotted it. I had to do it in 2 things.
Yeah, I think I just have to do that.
It's so small.
The past few weeks have been some of the most difficult, the most challenging of my life. While there are several episodes left of the season, it is important that I take the time to address the troubling information that has come to light since we wrapped filming, including the incredibly disappointing photos of Rachel Kirkconnell and the interview between Rachel Lindsay and Chris Harrison. The reality is that I am learning about these situations in real time, and, well, I mean, those pictures of Rachel were out for a very long time.
Well, sure, but he learned about them the same time we did, I think is what he means.
Okay. Okay. And it has been devastating and heartbreaking, to put it bluntly. Chris's failure to receive and understand the emotional labor that my friend Rachel Lindsay was taking on by graciously and patiently explaining the racist history of the antebellum South, a painful history that every American should understand intimately, was troubling and painful to watch. As Black people and allies immediately knew and understood, it was a clear reflection of a much larger issue that the Bachelor franchise has fallen short on addressing adequately for years. This moment has sparked critical conversations and reporting, raised important questions, and resulted in inspiring displays of solidarity from the Bachelor Nation. It has also pushed me to reevaluate the process, what my experience on The Bachelor represents, not just for me, but for all the contestants of color, especially the Black contestants of this season and seasons past, and for you, the viewers at home. I will continue to process this experience, and you will hear more from me in the end. My greatest prayer is that this is an inflection point that results in real and institutional change for the better. So he does call out Chris Harrison, kind of calls out Rachel Kirkconnell, and also the franchise. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like pretty good. So I had a hard time kind of, like, this doesn't sound like him. I mean, so like written, I guess I could spend a lot of time on something written and it won't sound anything like me.
When I read over previous like materials and professional documents that I've created, I'm like, whoa, I'm so smart. Yeah. So I can see, like, when you take the time and effort into it and you know people are going to be reading it.
Yeah.
It can come out in a different voice than your normal voice. Yeah. I I wonder. I don't know, because like we have the suspicion that he chose Rachel, which then would make the timing of the statements interesting because they're like less than a week apart.
About a week, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more than a week, I think.
I think Rachel's just came out. I don't know. Time is stupid. I don't know. So yeah, so about a week apart. And so then that's interesting timing if they weren't together.
If they aren't together now?
If he didn't choose her.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're still together if he did choose her.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to know.
Potential spoiler cushion. So if you I think it's an interesting tidbit. I don't know if it's a spoiler. But maybe fast forward like a minute if you like want to like not have anything that could be in the realm of spoiler. Matt made a breakup playlist on Spotify.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and then that beard does not seem, the one for the woman tell all does not seem like the beard of a person who
the woman tell all
has
was
someone
almost
kissing
like
him
3
frequently.
Weeks.
Huh?
The woman tell all was like at least, I think it was like at least 3 weeks ago.
Okay. I don't know when he made the breakup playlist.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a thing I just heard. And then, yeah, with the beard, it's like not like a kept beard, you know, like it doesn't, it doesn't look he's taken care of. It looks like he's just grown it out. Like what, you know, whatever, just going to do this thing, you know? So like, I feel like the full beard look doesn't work well on a really fit guy. Like, I feel like you gotta like have some meat on your bones if you're gonna have a big full beard like that. It's like for a full-bodied man.
I guess.
That's what I think.
Sure.
Anyway. Okay.
Okay. Last thing I have is about the potential next Bachelorette.
Ooh, okay.
So Reality Steve, and honestly, he hasn't been right at all this season.
Yeah, what I've been hearing from people who follow Reality Steve is take everything with a grain of salt these days.
He's been wrong in so many things lately. He says that Katie is out.
Okay,
as
that's not
Bachelorette.
surprising. I think that she should be out if Bachelor wants to re-untarnish their image. I'm having so much trouble with words today.
Okay.
Like concise words that just like display like a singular meaning. Like I can't do it today.
That's okay.
All right.
So yeah, I mean that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that would be a good call. And I think that's what most fans have been.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's going to be interesting what direction they take because they just had a black bachelorette. They had a black bachelor, and like, I mean, there's a lot of catching up to do if that's what they want to do. If they want to catch up, then they have to have another like 7.
Yeah, I don't think they're interested in catching up. I don't think.
So I imagine that they're probably going to have they're going to have a white person, honestly. In my professional Bachelor opinion.
I don't know. That's why I think Abigail's the perfect pick for them.
Because she has this super white family and she's a person of color.
Yes. And then she also has a disability. And so then that like...
it ticks off a first for them.
It ticks off so many boxes that I think that it would be good for them, for their like image. And then as far as like white Bachelor Nation and any concerns that they might have about it, that they wouldn't be concerned because she's not black, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And she's not like too Asian.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a
I said that with quotation marks if anyone couldn't hear those.
I don't know how to put it. So it's like she's been whitewashed a little bit.
Well, if she has a white family.
I know, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's whitewashed so that it's more palatable for white people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Not just because she has a white family and not because she probably has white friends and stuff like that, or not probably, she might have white friends. So it's just, just what it is.
Sure.
I think.
So on the topic of Abigail, I've been struggling with some like cognitive dissonance recently of we want a deaf person to be the next Bachelorette, but we are not a podcast that's inclusive to deaf people. And that was really nagging at me. But I wasn't exactly sure what to do to fix it because I have done transcription work before. And if you just go from audio to transcribing something, it takes like 4 to 5 times as long as the audio is. So if we have an hour and a half podcast, I'm not great at math, but I think that's like 6+ hours of transcribing. And that is not a thing. Like that's an entire day of work, basically. I mean, it's because 6 hours is basically the minimum amount of time for that. And so that's not a thing that would be feasible for us as people who are not getting paid to do this. And so then I did some research and I found a process that's still going to take about 6 hours to do, but some of that is hands off where we can get an automated transcript that we can then go through and fix because transcribing software is generally not very good, especially free software. And then with 2 speakers and overlapping speech and things like that. And then also we speak naturally, like we're not doing like, this perfect is NPR, right? So there's like that. So we will have transcripts. I'm only going back 1 episode because I wanted to like play with a file and see how it would work and see how long that would take. And so we will have transcripts. So we'll have it starting from last week, but there will be a delay on those by a couple days probably. And so once the transcription is ready, we'll have a link in the description for the episode. And then I'll also tweet out the link. And it's just, I think at this point, it's just going to be a Google Drive because that's free. So it'll be like a Google Doc that you can open. But if anybody's problems accessing that, let us know. We'll figure out a new system. But this is what we're at least starting out with to just have something to go forward with.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So other news? Do you have anything else?
No. What about you?
I have one like newsy type thing.
Okay.
And it's that Chelsea was on Bachelor Happy Hour and she confirmed the rumors that we'd heard that Katie was not the only one to call out Victoria. She was not the only one to stand up to bully. She was not the only one to like speak out. And that after the initial night, most of the women, the OG women, like apologized to the new gals, like welcomed them into the group.
Okay.
So it was really just like a handful of people that were being catty about it. And those are the people we were seeing. And so then we assumed it was everyone. And which then makes more sense why Chelsea was like, I didn't realize that there was a problem. If like, I don't know if you remember that when like there was like a rose ceremony where like the new gals got real upset.
Who's that? Chelsea?
And Chelsea was like, I didn't realize there was a problem. Do you all feel uncomfortable? And I was like, how was she not aware of this? But if they all like were like kind of after the first night we're like, sorry, we were kind of upset tonight. Let's all be friends. Then she might not have known that there was a problem.
Like there was a continued problem after that. Like she assumed everything was squashed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I have is just something that I had not noticed because I was all excited about the diversity of the hometowns this week and how there was no family. What we ended up with, what we didn't expect was that there was no family of 2 white parents, which we thought Rachel for sure was going to have 2 white parents. We were a little bit wrong. But like that there was going to be so much diversity in these hometowns. It wasn't going to be 4 white families, right? Or like 3 white families and 1 black family. And so like having this like diversity I was really excited about. And I don't know, I tend to get excited about biracial couples because we're biracial, or we're not biracial. We are, what's the word? When you interracial relationship. Biracial is the children. I mean, I know that they're like really common, but I still just
Yeah, it's nice to see because it's at least, I don't know, maybe it's because we weren't seeing it as often. Like we weren't looking for it. Honestly, like I think I noticed it whenever I saw it.
Okay.
But I think I see it a lot more now.
Yeah, and I also I think about how it was not that long ago that it was illegal.
Yeah.
Right? Like you couldn't have
the 60s and 70s
biracial or interracial couples. Yeah. And so like it still kind of feels like a big deal to me because there was a point in time where our relationship would have been illegal. Right? And so I get excited about it. But nonetheless, it is worth pointing out Kristen Hopkins from this season, lawyer Kristen, she tweeted, trying to figure out the best time to tell y'all that a monoracial Black woman didn't get a one-on-one during a season with the first Black Bachelor.
Sure.
So not even that she didn't go to hometowns, but she didn't, like, a Black woman did not get a one-on-one date.
If you, like, take the Black part of all the women, then it makes up 1.5 Black people.
What? Oh, of the hometowns?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like 3 half Black women. But yeah, but no one-on-ones. So like Chelsea didn't get a one-on-one. Maggie didn't get a one-on-one. None of the like Black women got one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And like I hadn't even noticed that because I was so excited about the diversity and how like hometowns was like this like the biggest diverse group we've had for hometowns. And I just completely missed the fact that like no.
What was Tayshia's hometown? Well, Tayshia is biracial.
Yeah.
So was Ivan. There was Zach.
That she just said during a season with the first Black Bachelor.
Right. Well,
you're trying to go back in history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was the other 2 people for Tayshia?
Zach, Brendan, Ben.
Okay, Ben.
Wasn't Ben a hometown?
Who's Ben?
Army guy. Didn't he get a hometown?
Was he hometown?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome, my dear. Okay. Any other stuff?
No more news.
Okay. Cool. You want to jump in?
Let's jump in.
All right.
After these, let's take a
word
break.
from our sponsors.
Just kidding. We don't make no money.
Okay, so Chris Harrison comes in. He's like, hey, y'all, good news. Your families are here. And they're like, oh, my God. And then he tells them who's all going to be there. So let's just go and say that now. Serena, it's her mom, her dad, her sister. Rachel, it's her mom, her dad, her sister. Michelle, it's her mom and dad. Bree, it's her BFF Bree, her mom, and her baby sister.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, first is Bree.
First is Michelle.
Oh, just kidding.
I don't know what's happening.
I wrote Bree. Okay, so I told you this already, and this is why it was the first thing for me. First thing I wrote down, Bree's best friend is also named Bree. So I saw a preview of this episode where Bree says something about I talked it over with Bree and whatever. I was like, oh, that's not Michelle though. I was just really confused. And so I was like, oh, Bree's best friend is also named Bree.
Yeah. And they look very similar.
I don't think so. But.
What? Okay. Fine.
Okay.
So Michelle, she's from Minnesota. So if she had a hometown, that's where it would have been. Just FYI.
Yeah.
They go on a bike ride. There's a really cute clip at the very end of the episode of them like
crashing.
He's like trying to knock her off her bike or whatever, and he ends up falling off. I think that's funny. I didn't want him to fall off, but if he was trying to knock her off her bike,
I think he was like trying to like he's messing with her, like riding real close to her and stuff like that. Which is
I would have hated that. I would have been real annoyed.
Yeah. Does sound very annoying. Are you, I mean, I didn't write too much about their bike ride.
They were matchy. They were basically wearing the same color top, and they were both wearing dark bottoms.
Which is
dark
a
skinny
very
jeans.
Specific color. It's like a light lavender.
I think his was more of a gray.
Was it?
Yeah, I think they weren't the exact same color, but they were the same shade. Like if you put them in black and white, it looks exactly the same. And I've even seen pictures where it does look like the same color, but it was slightly different.
Very similar to me.
In the moment. Yeah, I mean, but they were totally like, go get your picture taken. You know, like they just tried to match to go get their picture taken. Right? Like, go get your...
Picture taken? You go to Sears and
you go to Sears and you get that like laser looking background.
Ooh, yeah, or just like the blue or green background with the clouds. Like not clouds, but like the white.
Yeah, like a haze.
Yeah,
kind of on it. And then she takes him to her classroom,
which is really cool.
It's very cool. It's very cute.
I feel like. Okay, one, I'm sure this was a logistics kind of nightmare, contacting all of their children, all of their parents, seeing if it's okay to have their children on a Zoom call on national television. And then I don't think everybody was on there because just based on America's like classroom size, I think that's like half of the kids.
Yeah, that was a small number, I would think. Also, this would have been filmed in like October, maybe November. She did not have any children in this school year yet. So are these kids from last year? Who are these children?
What do you mean? She would have had a new group of kids.
Starting when?
I don't know. Well,
yeah.
Well, like I think
she started filming in September. So when would she have met these children? Why would they have known her name?
Was it? I don't know when they started filming.
They started in September. So if this was her current class, she maybe taught for a month. Maybe.
Well, maybe she's that good of a teacher that they like her so much already.
Okay. Wow. They have a little Q&A with the kids, and some of the questions are funny, like, how many girlfriends do you have? Some are serious, like, how are you going to inspire Miss Young? That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you kissed cute. Yet?
Yeah.
It's quite an unorthodox thing to bring your significant other to your elementary school classroom, isn't it?
I would think so, but counterpoint, Nick and Vanessa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how common that is.
I don't think I've ever met any of my elementary school teachers
significant
others unless it was Miss Peng Chang and she married Mr. Kerr, which is also a teacher at the school. So like he was always there.
Yeah, in that case, yes, I definitely have met teacher significant others because we had a couple that were married. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Then they have a little brown bag lunch picnic.
I didn't see that, but okay, I believe you.
Okay. And Michelle, so he asks like, how important is it for like a guy to love the kids that you're with? And she tells him it's very important for her. And that's like basically why she came on this season. It's because she had like learned about Matt and she wanted to be on the show to date him. I don't care if you love my students. I just need you to know that.
Yeah. I mean, most of your students are adults.
It's true.
So it would be weird if I loved them.
They actually are all adults. Yeah.
So
I'm not legally allowed to teach children, so not because I did anything wrong, just because you need special certification. I want to clarify.
The reason why she keeps moving around. Yeah.
Okay. And so then her family.
Yeah. In a talking head.
Oh, sure.
She does say that she is falling in love with him.
Ooh, so cute.
Yeah, but not to his face yet.
Not yet.
So the evening. First thing I noticed, she has a white mom. I guess it makes sense since she is pretty light skinned. That I always feel weird saying like light skin, but I don't really know a better way to say it.
I don't know.
A lighter complexion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that she might be biracial, and turns out she is. And her and Matt are biracial, and you know, it's nice.
They both have white moms. They talk about her journey on the show and how he was basically taken with her right away and he gave her one-on-one immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michelle talks with her dad.
Yeah.
And she tells him what she likes about Matt, which is basically like his community service work.
Mm-hmm. Which is like something that we hadn't like heard too much about. And so this is where I want to kind of talk about The Bachelor.
Okay.
Because, okay, well, let's continue talking about him where he's helped build hydroponic farms in with inner city children, which is something which is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically farming without dirt because you just don't have it like really like in the city. And so you just have like a tub of water and you just have plants floating on top, and then it's just like, and then as long as the water has all the nutrients that a plant needs and it has the water, it's fine. It'll grow just fine. It has like the light and everything. As long as has that, it's fine. It'll grow. And you can farm in your basement if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And so like that's really cool.
I had a student who had a little hydroponic garden in her kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is really cool that Matt is doing that with kids. And the reason why I think everybody was so like on Matt most of the season is that we didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
And then like one thing, like we have these women like trying to impress us and show us that they have a personality and why they should be like the next Bachelorette, or why they deserve followers, or why they deserve love from the lead. But then like they didn't even sell Matt to us at all.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it happened every single episode that they could have just shared. There's so many episodes where we just didn't hear anything about him.
Yeah.
He was just saying, thank you. Or I'm glad you're here. What can I help you with? Which is like great too.
Yeah.
But then we still don't learn anything about him other than him listening or being like affectionate and stuff like that. But like that's nothing about his personality.
Yeah.
There's nothing, we don't learn anything about him really.
Yeah, we got little breadcrumbs of his personality, but not much.
Yeah. I feel like everybody has a personality. Just like show it a little bit, like show us like something endearing. Like they showed like little like tags at the end of shows where he's like doing something silly, but yeah, like you can't get a whole personality from like silly scenes. You know?
Nope. You can't.
So I hope that they realize that they need to also sell the lead to us too, not just the contestants. That's what I do. Learning things about Matt is actually good. Yeah. Like it helps me get invested too.
Sure, okay. Of course. No, they spent way too much time on the drama and not enough time on the good stuff.
Okay, I'll get off my box now.
Okay.
Get off my soapbox. Thank you.
Her dad asks her if she would say yes if he picked her at the end, and she says that she would. Then Dad talks to Matt, and he asks what makes Michelle different from the other women. And he talks about her strength and the goals she has and how those align with his.
He asks if he's in love with her, and he basically says not yet. He's falling for her.
Yeah.
Which is like walking a tightrope of words and meanings. But he says he wants, how did he put it?
He'd be willing to move to Minnesota? Is that the thing?
I mean, he does say that, like that, you know, if that's where life takes him, that he's willing to do that or visit that conversation. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Dad says he will respect her choice and will be supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best you can ask for.
It's the only thing really you can ask for. Mom and Michelle. Michelle says she thinks he's the one. And the mom's like, don't you think this is moving kind of fast? And she's like, the weird thing is I don't. Like she's like, it should feel like that, but I don't feel like it's been too fast. And
she says, I just want him to make you happy like your dad makes me happy.
Oh, so sweet. And they play basketball. Good family fun. It's cute.
Yeah, I don't think maybe they've done that in the past, but that's
I think it's the only family activity we saw, right?
I think so.
So they talk afterwards, and she tells him that she's falling in love with him.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel?
Rachel. She is from Georgia.
Sure. So she starts off the date with something about trust and honesty.
Honestly, if you were like, I have a date planned for us, do you trust me? In all other regards, yes, I trust you. But when you ask me, do you trust me? The answer's going to be no. Just, no. If you got to ask, then no.
Not right now. Baby, do you trust me?
No.
Okay, baby, come here.
No.
No, I didn't say it. Just come here.
No.
What?
So then she blindfolds him and puts him in a race car.
And she's driving. He's blindfolded. I don't know what's up with this whole blindfolded shit.
I don't know. I just guess it made it more fun. And then he looked real stupid when he took it off and made a dumb face. Did you notice?
When he realized they're gonna go skydiving?
No, it's like his eyes adjusting, and then he like opened his mouth too. I don't know. It's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're gonna go skydiving, and Matt actually says out loud to the camera, "What could possibly go wrong?"
He also said, "Oh shit." When he realized what they're going to do. So it kind of made me think that he actually didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
Because he usually probably has some idea.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, when he went on the date with Serena was like, it's so weird to be on the opposite side of this. Like the one who's planned the date. And then he has to find out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So Matt gets strapped to a skydiver and Rachel gets strapped to a baby, and neither Matt or Rachel are wearing helmets. The skydiving instructors are wearing helmets.
Yeah.
But neither Matt nor Rachel are wearing helmets. Somebody else pointed that out online. I was like, holy fuck, they weren't wearing helmets.
That's so dumb.
Rachel strapped to an actual child and not given actual protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not notice that. But totally, they were not wearing helmets.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And so during Rachel's fall, she was professing her love to him, which is like a weird thing, I guess, to do in the moment. It's cute later.
Yeah. But I'm sure the skydiving instructor was like,
what's going on?
Also, for part of the time they had like GoPros, but like there's definitely footage that looks like a cameraman jumped out of the airplane.
I don't know if it was like, I really doubt it was the camera person from the Bachelor.
He was like from the skydiving crew.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm sure their cameras are super expensive.
Yeah.
And they're not just going to throw it out of a plane.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. They have a skydiving company that does have a nice camera that can film and a professional that is used to doing that, they have like one shot to get it correct, and they're going to probably leave it up to a professional to do that.
That's a good point.
Like, I don't know if the Bachelor Nation's Bachelor producers' cameras are insured for falling from a plane. I
mean, you gotta have all your bases covered. So anyway,
just damages. How did it get damaged? I don't know, man. It just fell.
So Rachel lands on her face, and it looked very rough.
It looked really bad.
It looked very scary for both like being in that position and watching it. Right?
Yeah. She crashes, and Matt James like quickly unbuckles and kind of just jogs over.
Yeah, I would hope that you would be running full speed. I would be running
full speed. Like, home dude is an NFL player. He can run real fast.
Yeah.
And so the only reason I could really think of why he's not sprinting over is there are better equipped people.
That's true.
That are going to get there first, and I don't know if he's like attached to anything. I doubt he's attached to anything.
Why did a medical professional not check her out? Like, they just like started moving her right away. She fell on her fucking face. Maybe don't move her right away.
I think they did.
Okay.
I think I read, I should have screenshotted it possibly, that they did a whole checkup of her to make sure before continuing.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like, this just seemed a little too casual.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt's reaction is like, basically it made him appreciate her more because he had like a thought of losing her.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I feel like it's just compiling the evidence that he chooses her because like, and like, who knows if this didn't happen, maybe he wouldn't have chosen her, you know, like, and I don't know that he does, but I'm just like, I'm thinking that this was a defining moment.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah. Family?
Yeah.
So Rachel's dad does not appear to be white.
He does not. He has very dark hair. He looks pretty tan.
The Hispanic community online, the Venn diagram of Hispanic community and Bachelor fans, believe he's Hispanic.
Yeah. So I think so the things that she's done have been the things that she's been accused of, making fun of people for dating black people, being at an antebellum, not recognizing that antebellum ball is problematic. It's all against like black people.
Well, also the native costume. And she did have a friend dress up in a sombrero and poncho.
So that's not totally cultural appropriation for her.
No, but she was happy in a photograph next to this person.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea if you dug up old Halloween photos, if that's a thing that you would see, because I didn't know that was an issue.
I didn't either.
In high school and college.
Yeah, I think I stopped dressing up, but I dressed up. I was in Filipino club. I dressed up in like Filipino garb. Is that part of it?
I don't know. I mean, you also president of the Filipino club. That could possibly be a problem. But they knew you weren't Filipino.
Most of them didn't.
Most of them didn't?
Most of them didn't.
Okay, that might be a problem, babe. There's nothing you can do about it now.
I mean, there were friends in the club that knew I was definitely Chinese and they voted for me to be president.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You do pretend to be Filipino sometimes.
I don't. I mean,
at the Safeway with the older Filipino woman.
Sometimes it's just easier to just play along.
Yeah, it is probably easier than you having to convince them that you're Chinese.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen where they're like, no. You're like, yeah. Okay. So anyway, that was just like a little bit of a surprise.
And they were, before they even walked in, before Rachel and Matt walked in, they were already talking about how this whole process is moving way too fast.
Sure, which is fair.
Which is, yes, very fair. I think Rachel in a talking head said that I see Matt as my husband already. And then
she does seem all in on those talking heads.
Yeah. And then Mom and Rachel are talking.
Yeah.
And Rachel says she doesn't see any bad things about him.
Mom is
a lot of good things. So.
Mom is trying hard to figure out those flaws. She's like, well, what about this? What about that? Rachel's like, I haven't seen any. And that is scary.
I feel like that's a red flag.
Right?
Yeah. Then Dad and Matt, he says 10 weeks is too short for you to start before you can get engaged.
This is where Dad and I agree.
Yes, I agree too. Matt does acknowledge that it is a weird circumstance. And then Dad also brings up the other women too. It's
normal parent concerns, really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The things that we hear from like every parent on these shows, basically. Yeah. Dad and Rachel, again, those same concerns, but Rachel's like, maybe it's naive, but I think I'm different from the other women. Like, I think that he feels differently about me.
Yeah.
Which I think is a naive stance, but I don't know that she's wrong. But also, like, I don't like looking at all these hometowns. He just seems so smitten with all of them. So I don't know. When they talk after, he tells her that he did not ask for her dad's blessing because he didn't want to do that while he was dating 3 other women. And Rachel is not happy about this.
Yeah. I don't know if it so I listened to it again. I don't know why I listened to it. I listened to it again.
Okay.
And it sounded like it could have been spliced together. Like,
okay.
Like saying like, it would have been nice. I think her actual words, it would have been nice if he did ask for my dad's blessing or something like that. And so it could have been spliced together where it's like, I think they could get her to say that in a different circumstance.
Yeah.
And put that in instead. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Bree?
Yeah, Bree. She is from San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Which is in California.
And Bree starts off the date with saying like, hey, remember when you almost killed me?
Well, this is payback.
Yeah, my turn.
Yeah.
So they go off-roading in a Jeep, and it looks like they're having fun. And then so another time where Matt James is actually just talking about himself. Yeah, so like I've had a job since I was like 12. I just like worked in like Christmas tree lots and blah blah blah. And it's like, shit, man. Yeah, you started working before my brother. My brother started working at 14. Like that's like
it's pretty early.
Yeah,
So
he said he's always had a job. And, you know, like that's something to talk about. Yeah, possibly. I don't know.
So this is like. Just like on the top of like things that we haven't really heard about and other people know about it on Twitter. We must have just missed it. Maybe you remember it, but Bree's mom had her when she was very, very young. Do you remember that?
When you said that, like, remember like Bree's mom started a new life. I'm like, oh yeah, that totally did happen. But I guess I don't remember the detail of her having Bree very young.
Yeah, I did not remember that part at all. I guess she had her when she got pregnant like in like teens. Like somebody said 13. I don't know if that's a real number or if they made that up to like exaggerate like 16 or something. But like as a child, like basically Bree's mom had Bree as a child as far as I can tell.
I see.
So I don't remember hearing that at all. I feel like that would have like stuck in our minds.
I don't think I heard her being that young. I think like pretty young. I can imagine like being her mom being like, I don't know, 18-ish, like that kind of young, but not like teens.
Yeah,
young,
right?
Early teens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get that impression.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what people said online. They have a picnic and they talk some more, but I don't know what they talked about because you opened Clubhouse.
So we're on Clubhouse now. And I didn't know what was going to happen when I opened it. And so it was just like people were talking on it. I'm like, oh, okay, people are just talking. And I'm muted. That's fine. I'm like, okay, as long as they don't hear me talking. And then I didn't want to just leave and she'd be like, oh, this guy just came in and just left.
Oh, is it under your account? Like you as in like Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I try to put it as Ryan and Kelly, but then what pops up is just Ryan.
That's fine.
But I didn't want to be like super rude and just like pop into a room of just like, like 10 people and then just like join the audio. Like I will participate and then I just left or something, And so I just left it on for a little bit, for maybe probably a little bit too long. Cause I was kind of, getting the lay of the land. I didn't know how the app worked. So I just joined in. People were talking. I'm like, oh, what do I do? And then just like left it on. So
that's funny.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, I don't know what they talked about. It seems like they thought it was a good conversation though.
Yeah. So I went back and I listened to it.
Okay.
And Bree mentions that having this date, it's kind of coming full circle where like she planned it and they went off-roading and he planned it, they went off-roading and stuff like that. So it's kind of come all like full circle and it feels like things are progressing the way that they want it to go. And,
okay.
Seems like they're on the same page.
Cool.
Yeah.
Family time?
Family time.
Matt has been bringing gifts to all of the families. The giant bunny was the weirdest gift, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it was for the baby, but it was really big.
I think it was for the baby, and I think it might be like a hazard for a baby.
Right? The baby's going to suffocate in that bunny.
It just like gets its face stuck in it for too long or something.
It's like the size of a 7-year-old.
I think bigger because it's like real fat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like
the height.
I don't know. It's
pretty big.
I wasn't expecting disagreement, so I'm not ready to defend my argument.
Well, the bunny, it seemed more like a rabbit, like a hare.
Hare, yeah. You gotta put it next to a tortoise for me to know.
Okay, so this is when I also remembered that I saw them holding a baby in the previews, but I didn't know that was Bree's sister. Mm-hmm. I thought it was just like somebody's, like her friend's baby or something like that. But that was Bree's baby sister. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, for me, like I feel like if you handed me your baby sister, baby sister, mm-hmm. I would have thought that was more precious cargo than, say, like just a regular, like a friend's baby.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm scared of all babies, so I don't have a feeling about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this, I wondered if Matt James was thinking like, oh my God, this is what it'd be like if I had a baby with Bree.
Yeah, I thought it seemed like it was a really sweet moment. Like he was like making a connection with her. Other people watched it and was like, Matt's freaked out right now. And I feel like those people are projecting.
I think he's seeing it, but I don't think he's freaking out about it. I mean, I don't know where he's at with wanting a child, but I don't know.
I think he wants kids.
I mean, like where he is in his life.
Oh, I see. Like how soon he might want them.
Yeah.
I think you can look at a baby and not be like, oh, I don't want a baby right now. Like, good, it's not your fucking baby.
Yeah.
Mom and Matt.
Mm-hmm.
So she asks if he's in love with her, mm-hmm. and he says he's falling for her.
Again, yeah, just like he said with Michelle.
Yeah. And then Mom and Bree, and she asks her a similar question, and she says she's falling in love with him. Mm-hmm. And she also says this is the first time that she feels like someone is really seeing her.
I see. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, at least they have shown her being one of the first people getting a rose, every single rose ceremony.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's part of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
She also says that she can't imagine telling him that she loves him right now and then being sent home. Mm-hmm. And her mom, I really liked what her mom said. Mm-hmm. Her mom said, worst case scenario, we're mending a broken heart together.
Yeah.
And I like that approach to life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So go skydiving. And then if you break your body, we'll heal your body together.
That's a little bit different. Having your heart broken because you thought you really liked someone, that you were falling in love with them. Mm-hmm. That's a thing that if they really weren't the one, you can get over that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like most likely.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. It'll be hard, but mm-hmm. if you have a good support system, then you're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I liked that approach because so often on the show we see like, oh, I don't want to open up and be vulnerable and then get my heart broken. And it's like, well, if you don't ever open up and be vulnerable, then you're not going to get your heart broken, but you're also not going to fall in love. So,
well, I wonder how much that's true because it seemed like with Bree's conversation with her about her family, it seemed like her mother moved across the country away from her and kind of started a new life, and they don't really keep in touch anymore. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
That's the impression I was left with.
Yeah.
So
does a support for you have to be someone who's physically there?
No. But it seemed like maybe they aren't as close as she was used to, I guess.
Oh, yes. That's what seems like. Maybe. But I also would guess that Bree's mom feels that maybe Bree doesn't need her as much anymore.
Yeah, but she's pretty young.
Sure.
Okay.
Talking afterwards, mm-hmm. she tells him she's falling in love with him and wants to have more time with him.
So I talked with my friend and my mom, and This is really hard to say. Oh my God. And like, it sounded like she was going to break up with him. But she was like, they gave me some perspective and blah, 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 that, you know what? I'm falling in love with you. Or I'm in love with you?
Falling in love.
Yeah.
That's falling. Nobody's in love yet.
I think Rachel is.
Has she told him she's in love with him?
I think so.
Okay.
Didn't he say it back?
I don't remember, man.
Oh,
I don't remember.
We're so bad at this. We should just stop this podcast.
Maybe. I also have a migraine, so I just don't even want to like try to access any parts of my brain that I don't immediately need.
We don't need that part of your brain. Honestly, you don't need that part of your brain. Throw away that memory.
Okay.
Okay.
Serena?
Mm-hmm.
So she's from Canada, but we think maybe near Toronto based on where she pointed to on the map.
Yeah.
But we did not look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the information we have.
She's from Canada. She's
100% from the country of Canada.
Yes. So they had a Canada Day. And what it really seemed like to me, so in elementary school, sometimes we would have bring food from your ethnicity day or night. And then it was just like this big room with all the children and the parents, and they would just like eat the different foods. And, you know, you drew up your flag of your ethnicity or whatever, right? And that's what it seemed like, but it was just all Canada.
Yeah. I feel like somebody was like, make this look like Canada. And they're like, well, I do have this box of 500 Canadian flags I could use.
500 tiny Canadian flags. So quick, go on Amazon.
Okay, so she asked him those trivia questions, and she asked him how many points are on the leaf on the Canadian flag and the maple leaf. I know it's a maple leaf, but and instead of looking at the flag and counting, he just like tried to like envision it in his mind and say the number. And I cannot remember right now if the real number is 14 or if his fake answer was 14. But
his fake answer was 14.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, for the rest of my life, there are 14 points on the maple leaf.
I'm sorry. And I will be here the rest of my life to tell you that's not correct.
What's the right answer? 11
or 10. 10. 10.
Great. Hope they never ask us on trivia.
At least I'll be closer. It's not 14.
They eat Canadian food.
There's a little vernacular / vocabulary words.
And this made me miss going. I know we didn't do it like a ton, but I really liked the Angry Beaver. The bar. So in Seattle, I know you know this. I'm going to talk to our listeners for a second. There's a bar in Seattle called the Angry Beaver, and it is a Canadian hockey bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they have delicious food, and they have a maple old fashioned, and hockey is just on every TV screen.
I think our maple old fashions are better though now.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's been so long.
It's different when other people make it for you.
And there's like a vibe in a bar, you know?
I mean, it's
a dive bar.
Yeah, it's very divey.
And
especially when there's a hockey match.
I love watching hockey field sports, and I don't know, ice hockey game match champions
hockey.
I know nothing about the sport.
Yeah,
I know nothing, but I find it so enjoyable to watch because the talent of being able to play soccer on roller skates or on ice skates is just amazing. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's pretty. I imagine.
And I hate soccer.
Have you gone?
Hockey's so much more enjoyable to watch than soccer.
Have you gone ice skating before?
As a child, yes.
Okay. Was it hard?
As a child, nothing is that difficult.
Okay.
Because everything's difficult. So nothing becomes really that difficult when you're a kid because everything's difficult because you don't know how to do anything.
Yeah, I guess.
As an adult, I imagine I'd be very bad at it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you ever want to try it, I'll go with you.
Me? Are you talking to me or our listeners?
With you.
I've done it before.
Okay, well, if you ever want to go again, I would try it. But if you want to go actually ice skate, I am not the person to go with.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be holding on to the edge.
Okay.
And then they play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't understand why, but he didn't tie up his laces. It wasn't
that
tight.
seems dangerous.
Yeah, and I think... I don't know. I've seen it recently, too, where, like, they just didn't fucking tie up his shoelaces. And it's just annoying, because they're just going to break your ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Gotta learn somehow.
Seems dumb.
So, I noticed on this date, so, like, when Serena's, like, greeting Matt and, like, introducing him to Canada, and then, like, when she introduces him to her family, Serena is, like, kind of loud and kind of silly.
I recognize that she was being silly when she was trying to be the teacher for him, or the quizmaster or whatever. And when they were trying food, that they were having fun.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, honestly, like, throughout the state, and it just, again, I think the editing probably, it was like, we don't get to see personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, Serena has a different personality than I imagined. I thought she was, like, reserved and calm and whatever. And I don't think she is. I think she's probably pretty quirky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Family time?
Family time.
Do you have anything before Mom and Matt talk?
I think they talked about first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wrote down. First impressions.
Okay.
Of each other.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't write any notes about that.
Okay. Matt and Mom?
Yeah, so Mom asks, what do you like about her?
Mm-hmm.
And Matt says, she's got her head on her shoulders.
Smart. She's got a head on her shoulders. I was like, what? I know it's like person that has their stuff together.
She's got a good head on her shoulders is the expression.
Oh, okay.
Not she has a head on her shoulders.
I see.
Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, when we talk,
also,
we make mistakes. It's fine. It was just a funny mistake.
Is there also a saying that's like she has her head on her shoulders? Like,
no, it's get your head out of your ass. That's what you're thinking.
No.
I'd lose my head if it weren't screwed on tight.
Maybe. No, it's not. Okay,
I don't know.
Maybe that's it. It's got a good head on her shoulders. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, it seemed like his reasons for really liking her were kind of like weren't very good.
Yeah, I thought they had the weakest relationship and the weakest like date, like the least connection.
Yeah, the least connection. It seemed like they were having a lot of fun, but it didn't look like they were like romantically clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no passion between them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I have Serena and her sister.
Yeah. This is where it starts to go downhill.
Yeah.
Everything was good and fun up until this point.
She says that it seems like I'm always constantly catching up to his feelings.
Mm-hmm. She also says this red flag statement of he checks all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to like mentally go to like a list of reasons why you should be with a person.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just like knowing that you should be with that person.
Yeah. And like maybe if you've been together for like years and you have kids together, you're married and you're like just trying to figure out your relationship, fine. Mm-hmm. If you're starting out a relationship and you're like, we're perfect on paper, he checks all the boxes. No, you're done, break up, it's over.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you gotta like figure out what else.
You can't logic yourself into falling in love.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Unless it's an arranged marriage, you know, in that case, fine. I can see the need for this kind of like mental dialogue, but
little check boxes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like literally that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for love, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. Her sister says, you don't seem smitten, which is obvious.
Yeah.
And then also like very telling that like she's like she didn't say like, oh yeah I am. It's like she didn't say anything back.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, her sister's like, I think something's missing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, maybe you're just in your head. But she's like, you don't seem smitten. And then yeah, Serena's like, it's like there was like a switch in her mind she couldn't find, and her sister just turned it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does seem like what happened.
So she talks to her dad, and she's still at least like feigning optimism in the relationship.
He asks, like, are you thinking about marriage here? And she's like, yeah, I am thinking about marriage with him. And he's like, engagement's a big deal, man. And it's like, that's a big commitment.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I know. But...
yeah. And she said that she was feeling confident before she talked to her sister. So she said that to her dad. And then she goes into the conversation with her mom, just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, why am I here? These aren't her words, but that's her energy when she starts talking to her mom.
Yeah, she's like been processing the conversation with her sister and dad, and it just like kept causing more doubt.
Yes.
Which is like, and not that like they weren't sowing doubt, they were just letting her realize this doubt, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're like very good brainwashers, like they were really just like talking through her feelings with her.
Yeah, it's like, you don't seem smitten. And she didn't deny it or anything.
Yeah.
They were just pointing it out for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mom also mentions that
go ahead.
There was a past relationship that
Yeah.
messed her up. And then when we get to this, or maybe in like a talking head or something, it seemed like she was really in love with this person.
Yes.
And then I think she got the rug pulled out from under her.
Like,
where she's like, oh my God, like I thought we were totally in love. We're going to end up together forever. And then like gone.
Yeah. It sounded like she thought they were going to marry each other. And now she's like, if I was so wrong about that relationship, I could be wrong about this one. Also, there was, with Michelle, her mom said something like, we don't, I know it happened like 5 years ago or whatever. It's like,
really?
What happened 5 years ago? And so, yeah, we get these like little pieces of information about past relationships, and it's fine. They don't have to like open up.
Oh, yeah. Michelle mentioned like she had like a really hard time a while ago. And I want to know like a little bit more about that.
I know, like, and they don't have to open up for us, but I'm just surprised because The Bachelor doesn't fucking care about their feelings. So they're going to try to poke and prod and get that information. And I'm surprised they didn't air it because I'm sure they got it.
Probably.
So again, I don't feel upset that we personally did not get that information.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised The Bachelor didn't air that information because they love trauma stories.
Yeah, for sure. Serena and Matt?
Yeah.
Serena says that I have to deal with some internal doubts, and she has to deal with them. Internal doubts and fears, and I have to deal with them.
And Matt was surprisingly unhelpful. Because, like, he knows...
He tried to give advice.
But he knows what it's like in this process of, like... It's fast. You have to make decisions. You have to, like... be sure of your feelings, and maybe you're not sure about your feelings, and you have to be as sure as you possibly can be. Like, he knows what that's like in this situation. And he, as somebody who's otherwise been so empathetic, he basically is just like, don't worry about it. Don't think about it.
He was like, he said, don't worry about like the past. You just gotta be here in the moment. And so it was kind of like disregarding. Yeah, it didn't seem helpful.
Yeah, disregarding her feelings. Yeah.
Yeah. Disregarding her past, when it's like you can't just like not think of the past.
Like, oh, thank you. I didn't think about just not thinking about the past. Now that you've mentioned it, I'm gonna try it.
Next thing I have is Matt and Chris Harrison.
Yeah.
Fire Chris Harrison. So at this point, it seemed like Matt thought everything was really good with Serena P. Which didn't seem really the case in the last one-on-one.
And it's a fucking lie. Yeah, it's a lie, because he straight up told us he did that one-on-one because he had friend-zoned himself. He didn't think everything was perfect with Serena P. Like...
Maybe.
Well,
it seemed like he was friend-zoned, kind of, and then like trying to get past that or something.
Yeah.
And he said, Chris Harrison mentioned that Serena P has been pretty high on your list the entire time, which is not something we saw, really.
That's what we saw, and it seems, again, not to check out with the whole, like, I put myself in the friend zone. I don't know.
Yeah. And so he basically say that you guys need to talk this out.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go talk them out.
Yeah.
Talk it out. Next thing I have is Matt coming to
Serena.
Yeah.
And he tells her that he has spent more time with her than anyone else because she got 2 one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Because he can see a future with her. And again, that's not why. It's because he had doubts and he needed to know before going into hometowns. It's not because he was so sure and he wanted more time with her.
Well, I thought that what I took from it is that he really liked her and wanted the relationship to work out. And that's why he spent the most time with her.
Maybe.
And so I was thinking, like, from the hometowns dates, how much effort they put into each of them, like, was how much money, like, and effort the producers wanted, like, how likely they were to, like, move on. And so, like, Rachel went fucking skydiving, which I guess isn't probably that big of a logistic thing. They do have to take a course. It's a 1-hour course on how to do skydiving.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Whenever you do that, you need to take a course.
Okay.
Michelle's getting all of the signatures from, like, the students. That's a lot of effort. Bree, rent a car.
Yeah, but a Jeep and go off-roading? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
What was Serena's? We just talked about
Canada.
I know, I forgot that one so quickly. Like I said, migraine brain, not accessing anything unessential.
There's a lot of Canadians that, like, looked at poutine and were like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, really?
Because it was like, I mean, it looked like okay to me, but it didn't seem like the right gravy. It seemed like it wasn't cheese curds. It was just like
cheese.
It was just cheese.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, what the fuck is that?
Which, I mean, Pennsylvania is not far from places where you can get cheese curds.
I think so. Like, we get poutine here sometimes too.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare, but it's around here somewhere. Okay.
So anyway, I don't know. I felt like him talking to Serena about how, like, energetic he was about their relationship seemed like, maybe rose-colored glasses, where he was, like, looking at it through, like, I think I could lose her, but we have such a great relationship, like graduation goggles, right? Where it's like, it was so wonderful though, right? And I don't know that he was remembering the reality of the situation.
Maybe. Yeah. So she kind of just drops the bomb that I don't think you're my person.
I don't think he was expecting to get broken up with. I don't think
he was either.
Yeah.
But I think the producers knew, because he came in a SUV. And when you're in an SUV, they can fit all of the producers and stuff in there too, so that they can do your little, like, breakup ride. Yeah. Or else he would have just came in his little Porsche.
Yeah. It was, like, kind of funny watching her put him in the SUV and then her walk back in while he drove away. That was kind of funny.
Like she was the Bachelorette. Sending him home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was very, very upset by this.
So in the talking, was he wearing the same shirt that he was in that talking head? Because I was wondering if that was the same talking head.
He was wearing green.
Okay, in that talking head, he was wearing black.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe it was a different one showing that he was crying. So he wasn't crying for Serena. He was probably crying for something else.
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah, maybe.
A little trickery.
Yeah.
Unless they, like, waited to do that, which would have been really weird too.
But they do all kinds of weird things, right? Like, they make people break up twice, at least. Like that. Remember, like, Colton and Elise, where she, like, would have her earrings on in one scene and have her earrings off in another.
I don't remember that, but I don't put it past them to do that. So yeah, he was crying, but I'm not sure if it was in response to Serena. So I think the next thing we have is the rose ceremony.
Yes.
So the other women are, like, standing there and they're like, is Serena coming? Did she send herself home or something like that? Or did he send her home? And it was just kind of, it's obviously confusing when, like, one of the 4 people are not there anymore.
Yeah, the women look like really
confused.
Like, really confused. Like, I don't, like, it was kind of funny because it was like, is Serena coming? Was Serena not coming? I don't know. Is she coming? And Serena's not coming?
Did she get sent home? She sent herself home?
Yeah. Serena got sent home? No, I don't know. Did she get sent home?
I think he was talking to Chris Harrison. I don't write anything about that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And before he passed out the roses, he said, I really want you to think about this before accepting the rose. If you really see a future with me, then you can please accept the rose. But if not, please don't.
He said, I want you to think long and hard before you accept this rose. It's like, so over the next 10 seconds, you want them to think long and hard. Yeah. Got it.
I mean, okay. after they find out that they get the rose.
Yeah, exactly.
And walking up, whether or not they want the rose.
Yeah.
First person is Michelle. She says yes without hesitation. And then Rachel, and then Brie.
And Brie gets in her head about being the last rose, which it's like it's the kind of different circumstances, because it's not like the last rose where people are going home. Like, there are 3 roses, 3 women. You knew you were going to get a rose, right? That wasn't a question.
Yeah, there were 3 roses there.
Yeah. So she knew she was going to get a rose. It's not like the normal last rose, but she still thinks it means something, and she got the last one. And I think it's just because she's so used to being the first rose.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Next week will be the Women Tell All.
Women Tell All and the Fantasy Suites.
Oh, is it going to be both next week?
I don't know. They usually do both, don't they?
I don't think so. I think they're usually 2 separate weeks.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I can handle that much.
I feel like it's usually...
I think it's usually 2 separate weeks. We'll have to check the guide.
We'll see.
If it's both next week, then it's probably going to be Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's usually how it is.
Okay.
So you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Roses and Thorns Pod. And apparently we're on Clubhouse now. Thanks to the Basic Bitch podcast. They were nice enough to send over an invite, since it's currently only invite only. So yeah, we're on Clubhouse if you want to add us.
iPhone only, which rude.
I mean, I have old iPhones, so I was able to get that to work, but we'll see if it's something we use.
Yeah, I'm not going to have an extra fucking cell phone to use this. It's not worth it.
Sure.
Okay. All right, stats. So, to our Canadian friends, thank you. Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, and Unknown, our dear Unknown.
No Manitoba?
No Manitoba. I think we'll get them back. It's fine.
Okay.
In the U.S., Virginia, Washington, California, Georgia, and Massachusetts.
Cool.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else?
Rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. That little thing.
Yeah. Also, if you feel like somebody else in your life would enjoy this podcast, let them know about it. If they have some extra time on their hands, let them know about our podcast.
And if you feel like interacting with us, you can DM us. Let us know your thoughts, your concerns, your questions. If we say something that is incorrect or offensive in some way, please let us know.
Yeah, call us out.
Yep.
Don't cancel us.
We are
Don't
open
cancel
to
us,
that.
though.
Don't cancel us. Call and let us know. And then if you're willing, educate us. If you're not willing, we'll educate ourselves.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.